Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
This morning here on the Morning Drive. Thank you for being with us today on the Morning Drive. I'm curious what you thought about the offensive pass interference call. Coy Aiken got a couple of them, but one that was really critical because it was a touchdown that was called back. The drive ends up stalling, and Tech had to kick a field goal from 44 yards out by Gino Garcia. They said he pushed off with his right hand. It was, and there's always a lot of hand fighting between these receivers and defensive backs, and I guess it's a judgment call. And I'm not down there on the field, so it's just, even seeing the replay, it was hard to see it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think there's in those situations, if the guys are hand fighting a bunch down the field as the ball is released and the ball's in the air and they're going back and forth, I think you got to let that thing. You got to allow it, right? But if they're just running down the field side by side and at the last minute you see Josh Kelly do what he did, create the separation that he did, then yeah, that's an offensive, that's a push-off. Mm-hmm. That's pass interference. But when they're going at it and both guys have got their hands on each other, I'm sorry that it's a physical game. Both guys are being physical. You kind of felt like the guy was holding Josh tight to him, and
this is the second possession for Tech.
Yeah,
but it was Aiken too. It was.
I'm sorry, it was Aiken. That's right, it was Aiken.
But there was a play on where Josh got held back too.
Yeah. So I thought it was a no call, but obviously I'm a bit of a homer, but it's okay, more than a bit. But it was. Again, you got to watch the whole play, right? Mm-hmm. Is that official? You got to be watching the whole play. And if the only thing you saw was the second that the ball got there and Coy creating that separation, then okay, offensive pass interference.
And it kind of looked like the guy slipped, to be quite honest.
But if you see those guys going at it the whole time like they are, it's football. If you're going to let the defensive back have his hands on the offensive player, which it's, somewhat allowed, mm-hmm. right? Then the offensive player should be allowed to have his hands on the defensive back as well.
Because on the next series, on a 3rd and 9 call, there's a pass to Higgins, and it looked to me like he pushed off by him on Mo Horn, and they end up getting a big play on it. Now Tech ends up getting a stop on that drive, so it doesn't really matter. The other really, the play that you're talking about too, this was Tech's 7th possession. This is right before halftime with 30 seconds to go. There's an interception on 3rd and 10 at the 50-yard line, but Miles Purchase for Iowa State pulls on Josh Kelly's jersey as Josh is running across, and that slows him up, and then that allows the interception to take place. Mm-hmm. And so there's no call there. And look, I get that there's going to be missed calls or judgment calls or things like that. It's just you had that one on Aiken, so that's still in the back of my head. I'm like, well, usually anytime you hear these analysts, these replay officials on television, whether it's NFL or college, they'll say, anytime you see the jersey tug like that and get tight like that, that's holding or pass interference or whatever you want to call it.
I was listening to the radio at the time, and boy, Level was hammering on the fact that all of the calls were made by the same official.
Okay.
He was really good. And they didn't mention that. They were careful not to mention his name this time.
Oh yeah, because
they were Level specifically was kind of mentioning that it was the same guy over and over again.
Can we stop with the naming the officials was the problem? Because that's not why they got in trouble.
Yeah, they questioned their
integrity.
The integrity of the league.
Of the league, yes.
That's what got them in trouble.
Yeah. Well, anyway, at the start of the broadcast, they didn't even mention them because they said, well, 2 years ago, that was the start of getting us in trouble.
Yeah.
But anyway,
can we stop mentioning that on the radio? That would be fun, on the broadcast for them. That would be fun
I personally don't care about any of their names. And in football and basketball and baseball at all, I do not care about any of their names.
Except Bill. We like Bill.
I do not care.
I don't know if we'll get Bill tonight. It'll be interesting to see who we get tonight.
The more you name their names, the more they think they're part of the show.
But that's big on that call, because Iowa State gets the ball back and then ends up getting a touchdown right before halftime. They go 4 plays, 50 yards, and they take a 13-10 lead, at the half. And Coach McGuire at halftime on Double T 97.3 said it was frustrating. He said the defense is playing well. We're not getting anything back. We're getting stops. He said we got to be better. And they weren't. I mean, defense was getting stops, and the offense wasn't, complimenting them back with something along those lines. But the big play that they were talking about probably, and we get this from the Yates Flooring Center chat line, that they were talking about it on Cyclone Sunday. I didn't even know there was such a thing. This person says, I watched Cyclone Sunday yesterday, and they talked about the sack that was erased by the hands to the face penalty, which was an interception too. Mm-hmm. He said it was absolutely the right call, and it was absolutely the game-changing play. So this is on 3rd and 10. There's an illegal hand to the face. It costs Iowa State an interception. This is with 4:58 to go in the third quarter, roughly. And then Tech gets a big catch by Aiken for 25 yards to the Iowa State 23, and then on 3rd and 6, they get a 19-yard catch by Josh Kelly for the touchdown with $1:56 to go in the third, and they take the lead on a 12-play, 98-yard drive, because that drive started at the 2-yard line. And they were lucky on that drive as well not to get a call, Tech was, not to get a grounding call on the flea flicker, because that probably should have been intentional grounding on Baron Morton.
Yeah, they said he just got it past the line of scrimmage, which he needed to do.
Well, and like I said, they were fortunate. I didn't see where the ball landed. I just, listening to the replay analyst, he felt like, now he's not in the stadium, so I don't know that he could see it either. But you were fortunate on that one. But anyway, you take the lead there, and but that was a great drive, maybe the drive of the year.
And 98 yards, it'd be hard to beat it.
Yeah, 12 plays, 98 yards, 3 minutes, 49 seconds.
The last 2 scoring drives were massive.
No doubt. All right, 6:40 this morning here on the morning drive. They will have, Jeff will have This Day in Sports History next here this morning on Double T 97.3. And then we'll also have a lucky local winning word here this morning.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Today is Monday, November 4th, 2024. With This Day in Sports History, here is Jeff McGuire.
Gonna start in 1951 because the New York Football Giants beat the New York Football Yankees. Well, actually, I don't know the final score. However, I apologize. I thought I was reading a different story. They score on back-to-back touchdown kickoff returns. Like the
One
Giants
team and then the other team?
And then the other team.
Oh, that's really cool.
Fun.
Yeah,
that's fun.
1953, new baseball balk rule gives the batter the option of accepting the outcome of the pitch on the balk.
And that's still current.
Yeah, but it was today in 53 when they...
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hitter can hit the pitch.
Oh, okay. It's not like he can say after the fact. Oh,
no, it is after the fact. He can.
So if the pitch comes in and the hitter swings at it, okay, and gets a hit, because usually like the pitcher's in his motion, right?
Sure.
And he releases the ball and the umpire yells balk. Okay, the hitter can swing at it. Okay, Sneed, I know Sneed's listening, so correct me if I'm wrong here, Sneed. If he swings at it and hits a single to left, the runner advances from first to second. He can run to first. Okay. Or if he swings at it and hits it to third, and the third baseman grabs it and in the air and he's out, he can say, "No, we'll take the balk. That guy goes to second and no pitch."
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Help me out here, Sneed, but I think that's right.
1975, Orioles' Jim Palmer wins his second Cy Young Award. He was pretty good. 1987, Benito Santiago, Padres catcher, wins the National League Rookie of the Year. Underrated catcher?
Man, he was
He did so good for like
short period of time.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he was so good.
Yeah, man. Remember when he was just gunning people down from his knees?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was Pudge before Pudge was Pudge.
I think there may have been a little steroid stink there.
I think so.
I would
yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I was.
But yeah, he's a fun player.
1989.
Probably just a little.
Jamie.
Well, if you weren't that good, you ultimately didn't get that much stink. You just went away and people forgot about you.
In 2003, Santiago was named by FBI investigators as one of the athletes alleged to have received anabolic steroids. He was linked to performance enhancers in the book Game of Shadows. Yeah.
Okay, so more than a little, like Chuck said.
More than a little. Also named in the Mitchell Report.
1989, Jamie Gill rolled out to his left and found his walk-on wingback Anthony Mayweather wide open for a 65-yard go-ahead touchdown as Texas Tech tops number 22 Texas 24-17 in Austin. 1994, United Center in Chicago opens up. The Bulls beat the Hornets 89-83.
That's a good night.
And in 2009 Baseball World Series, Yankees beat the Philadelphia Phillies 7-3 in Game 6 at Yankee Stadium to win the Bronx Bombers' record 27th title. Who was the MVP, Jamie?
Which year?
2009.
2009 World Series. I don't remember.
Was it
Hideki
Sandman?
Matsui.
Oh, okay.
I knew Matsui had one of them, yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Happy National Roast Dinner Day. This is not having like a roast for dinner, but the act of roasting your meal. So it doesn't have to be beef, or it can be any meat that you roast. So it's not like a pot roast.
Okay. You a fan of the pot roast, Jamie?
No, I'm not.
He does not.
He's
I am not. Anything that comes up. Although Mrs. Lent made meatballs in the crock pot last night, and I'm a fan of that. Pretty much anything that comes out of the crock pot, I'm like, meh.
Okay.
I don't necessarily dislike it, but I just
He's
think
not
it's
a fan.
meh.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're throwing all sorts of stuff in there together, the roast beef and the potatoes, and
the
they
carrots.
all taste the same.
Oh,
and
man,
it smells up the whole house. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm out.
boy, I can always...
You call it smelling up the whole house.
I know.
I had fragrance to the whole house.
We call it delicious at my house, yeah.
Missed a couple of birthdays on Friday, and that's my bad. Especially when one of them is Danny Amendola, turned 39 over the weekend. And so did Matt Gardner, turned 40.
Oh, really?
So, bad Jeffy. Today, Rayford Young, 47. Ralph Macchio, 63. Matthew McConaughey, 55. Des Bryant, 36. Devin Hester, 42. And Eric Karros is 57. Now, I want to pitch a movie to you guys real quick. Okay? Think you're going to like it.
A potential movie?
I'm going to pitch a movie to you. Think U.S. Civil War time frame for this, okay? We're going to take a soldier who's just done fighting. Like, he's done with everything at this point. He's going to steal a horse. He's going to charge it across no man's land, which is, the area between the two fronts, right? Because he wants to be over. He wants it over.
Do you have any idea where Jeff's going with this?
No, I don't. Do you?
Yeah, he knows exactly where I'm at. So he charges, but he's trying to end it. Unfortunately, well, it inspires his troops behind him. So it leads this huge charge, and they get a massive victory. Our guy gets promoted. And for his, benefit of being promoted, he wants to be sent way out. Like, out in the wilderness, as far away as he can be.
Anything yet?
I'm thinking. Is this? Do you want me to give you a name?
Give me a guess.
General Custer.
Not General Custer.
Okay.
So he gets out there. Let's give our guy a nickname, because that'll be fun. And then, while he's out there, another fight happens. Our guy going to switch sides. He's a fight for the other guys now.
Let's give him a nickname of John Dunbar.
Now, there's one catch, guys. One catch. The lead actor, he wants to direct this thing. He's done some sports movies. He's kind of a known guy, but he wants to direct this. What do you think? Should we make the movie?
Yes.
Sure.
You said yes to a 12-time Oscar-nominated and 7-time Oscar-winning movie. Dancing with Wolves premieres on this day, 1990, in Los Angeles. Best actor Kevin Costner made him a Hollywood A-lister.
I think it's Dances with Wolves, not dancing. You're thinking of Dancing with the Stars.
All I know is it was
because that's
dances.
Dances, because that's what the natives call him.
Dances with Wolves.
3 hours of my life that I'm not going to get back.
I was hoping Chuck would say, "No, this sounds like a really dumb movie."
And that's the question when people ask, in our take versus take question: if you could become any character and live their life, that's the life I want. I want to be John Dunbar.
My goodness.
Yeah.
And that is this day's Words History.
Oh, my God. That just brings back a bad memory. All right.
So you watched it.
I didn't watch it. I went to the theater.
Chuck slept.
Well, what did you do at the theater?
Chuck took a nap.
I watched it. I mean...
Wait, never mind. Don't answer that question. I'm a little bit worried.
I watched it.
Did you have a date with you?
I did have a date with me.
You stayed for the whole thing?
Yeah. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. It didn't quite end like I thought it was going to.
The movie?
The date. The whole thing it just ended. It was just one of those nights that I could, if I could have it over, it'd be an extra 4 hours of my life that I would get back.
Do you think the movie was the cause for the...
No, it was ending, so that was...
Struggle.
It was an ender. It was an ender. It was just like, okay, well, it's coming to a close.
How much would I have to pay you to watch it again?
There's no amount. No amount. All right, it's time for our lucky local winning word from Double T 97.3 in the home zone. Go to doublet973.com. Enter the word I'm about to tell you. You could win some money this week, $250 Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. We're also giving $2,500 on Thursday, December the 5th, so put that on your calendar at $2. This is a basketball term, which is appropriate because we'll be playing basketball tonight at United Supermarkets Arena with the Lady Raiders, taking on Incarnate Word. We'll have the broadcast for you at 5:30 on 107.7, the Red Dirt Rebel. That's at 107.7, the Red Dirt Rebel, tonight at 5:30, the tip at 6. Baseline. Baseline is your word. Baseline, one word, Baseline. Baseline could be a baseline in baseball, could be a baseline along the baseline. Hopefully, Krista Gerlich and her team will dial up some terrific baseline plays tonight for an inbounds play, maybe one to Kyla Freelon. We'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. But baseline is your term today at 6:45. We'll have another one at 8:45, and at 2 is a basketball term.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, Chuck Heinz. One of the things that Coach McGuire said after the game, and I believe it was Coach Zach Hitley that had talked about it last Monday in his session with the media, that one of the things that they felt like they could attack from Iowa State's defense was that they felt the space between the linebackers and the safeties would give them an opportunity to get the ball in there. And that's kind of what happened on Saturday, is they were able to exploit that a little bit. And take advantage of that. And then the other thing that one of the things that Taj Brooks said after the ball game was, he said every time we went fast, we could get them on their toes, and every time we went fast, and I didn't double check this, but he just felt like that they got 8 or more yards of carry. So I'm pretty sure somebody said that to him.
I feel like we did. I think we were more successful when we went tempo in this game more than any other. Yeah,
and he talked about the tempo wearing them down, and so against the Iowa State defense, he went on to say that he's excited for next week. Need a great week of practice. Need a great week of preparation. Have to play to the best of our ability. Jacob Rodriguez, he said this after the game. He said, had a great game plan. Everyone executed. And then said this, finally finished a game.
Yeah.
Finally finished a game. He said, we have more to go. The bowl game is the floor for us. Have guys with good heads on their shoulders. So that's kind of what he said after the bowl game. And so, yeah, so you get, you had some guys out. Don't know what the injury report will say today in terms of who's questionable for next week. Didn't really see any injuries, but you never know. Somebody got dinged up during the ball game. Micah Hudson didn't play in the game. He wasn't available due to a lower leg injury. Devin Cromwell was out with a shoulder injury, and Dre McCray continues to, I'm guessing, be in concussion protocol because he was out with a head. Okay.
I would assume that's the case.
Yeah. So that's the deal there. So you put yourself in a really good spot now as you win the ball game and take them down and win it 23-22 and put yourself in at least a spot where you win this week and then maybe get a little help and win the following week and get a little help and then see where it takes us. Okay. So that's the good news. The Big 12 Conference over the weekend, a number of teams were idle, including your next opponent, which is back-to-back. That seems like that should be a rule, Jamie, that you shouldn't play back-to-back games with a team coming off of a bye.
Yeah, it seems like that'd be kind of difficult for them to manage the schedules is already difficult enough.
No, I understand that, but
it's unfortunate. But you've also played games before where you've been on a bye and the other team hasn't.
No, I know, but I mean, I'm just talking about back-to-back weeks.
Yeah,
that's it. Maybe that plays to your advantage too. You know,
I don't know how, but maybe
because sometimes I think coaches put too much in and fill the players' brains up with stuff, and then they overthink things, and players overthink things, and then next thing you know, you're back on your heels.
Just remember, you can play bad after a bye too. We've seen that firsthand.
Yeah. Okay, so take off your Red Raider glasses for a second and just think about this nationally or globally within the Big 12. What do you think people would say is the bigger surprise? Houston beating K-State or Tech beating Iowa State?
I don't think it's even close.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Houston over K-State.
Yeah. 24-19, and Houston had to come back to win that game. Mm-hmm. You know,
Houston's 3-3 in conference play. Good for them.
Yeah, 4-5 overall, and appears their coach
doing a good job.
Yeah, because K-State takes the lead 19-10. Then Houston scores a touchdown. Then K-State's 5 and out. Houston's 5 and out. Then K-State's 3 and out. And then so Houston's got to come back and they score. They score a one-play touchdown, 56 yards to take the lead, 24-19, and then
Kansas State scored a whopping 3 points after halftime in that game.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that is just so unlike them.
Yeah, I just did not see that one coming.
Yeah,
I absolutely did not see it coming.
Yeah, and so the other games in the Big 12, Oklahoma State at home gets doubled up on by Arizona State. I don't know that I would have seen that.
It's just the amazing flip of this conference. I mean, teams like Arizona State and Cincinnati and the aforementioned Houston and BYU that we thought were going to be at the bottom, and that is not the case at all. And teams like Arizona and UCF and Oklahoma State and Utah that we thought we would see at the top, I mean, that's not been the case at all.
UCF wins over Arizona 56-12, and then Baylor beats TCU 37-34 at home. So, you know, that was maybe a little bit of a surprise too.
Not for me. I thought Baylor would win that game.
Okay.
I think Baylor's a much better football team than TCU.
Okay. So BYU's on top of the conference at 5-0. Then you have Iowa State at 4-1, Colorado at 4-1. So you can give them a loss this week. K-State's 4-2, Texas Tech is 4-2, and then Cincinnati, Arizona State, West Virginia, all 3-2 on the season.
Part of the reason that this game is so massive is you get against Colorado here coming up is that you get to the point where you're getting in close there at the end, and tiebreaker is going to come into play here. Mm-hmm. And if you have wins over two of the teams that are close to you, in Colorado and Iowa State, and B, the fact that one of the tiebreakers is the level of competition that you've beaten in the Big 12 Conference. And if Colorado and Iowa State stay close to the top and you have 2 wins against those teams, that's huge. Huge.
Yeah. So for Iowa State, they're at Kansas this week, and then they host Cincinnati, at Utah on November 23rd, and then finish up at home against Kansas State. And that may be for a spot in the Big 12 championship game for both teams. Could be. As far as BYU is concerned, they're 5-0 on the season in Big 12 play. They will play at Utah this week. So that's kind of one of those. That's the holy war. Just kind of throw it all out, right?
Yeah, I'll be really surprised if Utah gives them a game.
Sure. Then they'll host
the way Utah has played.
They'll host Kansas on November 16th, at Arizona State on the 23rd, and host Houston on the 30th.
And I think without a doubt, the game in the Big 12 this week is the one here in Lubbock.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot there that's really interesting, I don't think, this week.
Yeah, I mean, in the teams that are above you,
UCF is playing to try to get to bowl eligibility or get closer to it. I mean, they're at 4-5 at this point, so them and Arizona State, I guess that's an interesting matchup to a certain degree. TCU has to feel like if they can beat Oklahoma State at home, then that would get them to bowl eligibility. So there's stuff to play for. Don't get me wrong. It's just it's not matchups with top teams except for a 4-2 and a 4-1 team in Texas Tech and Colorado.
Yeah. So now what you've got in terms of the top 25, you've got BYU's 9th, Iowa State is 17th. They dropped from 11. Colorado is at 21, and K-State drops to 22nd in the latest poll. But yeah, so it's I don't know. It's definitely fun, right?
Yeah, sure. It became fun again this weekend.
It did. It became,
and not just because Texas Tech won, but also that Kansas State lost.
Yeah.
Man, and you start. Again, if you can play like that, you wonder, man, we got a shot here to make some noise. You need some help. Mm-hmm. You would need some help, but because again, Iowa State still, even if you beat Colorado, let's say you win out, right, and you get to 7-2, Iowa State at this point still has just one loss, and we know BYU has none in Big 12 play. So you still would need help. You're not in control of your own destiny, but. If you're playing for third place, you're kind of in control of your own destiny almost.
Still fighting for it.
Which is not what we're playing for.
Right.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Okay, I'm going to be lazy today. I know Chuck likes this one, and I continue to be somewhat embarrassed by how much of a flip-flopper I am, especially since I hate flip-flops so much.
Like Choice Woodman was in here flip-flopping like a fish out of water on Friday.
Okay. So my question for you guys today is...
Here we go.
What record do you think Texas Tech ends up with?
Okay,
Chuck's got his sheet. He knew it was coming.
Well, when you started saying that, I'm like...
In no other year would it have been worthwhile for us to keep doing this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This has been the craziest year.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Okay. So here's where we were. After the near loss to Abilene Christian, I went to 7-5. Jamie went to 6-6, and Jeff went to 8-4. He stayed at 8-4 because I was at 9-3.
I was started at 8-4,
and you started at 8-4. Then on the 16th of September, I went to 8-4. Jamie went to 7-5, and Jeff stayed at 8-4. Jeff's been the one that's been most consistent. Although on October the 8th. This is after the win at Arizona. I went to 8-4. Jamie stayed at 7-5. And I went to 9-3. Jamie went to 9-3. Jeff went to 10-2. And then on the 21st of October, this is after the Baylor game, I went to 8-4. Jamie went to 7-5, and Jeff went to 9-3. Okay, so now we're 6-3, right? With 3 games to play.
I'm embarrassed with myself.
Okay. I'm on this 4th day of November. I'm going to stay at 8-4. Jamie?
I think you're going to win 2 out of 3.
So you're going to go to 8-4.
8-4.
So you're back to 8-4. Jeff, are you going to win the last 3?
8-4. I know. I went down after a win. Who knew?
Okay, so of the 3 that are left, then what's the game that you're going to lose?
I think Colorado is the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just go in order.
Okay.
They get easier as you go along, in my opinion. So Colorado's the hardest. Oklahoma State on the road, I'm still staying at the second hardest. I don't care if they're 0-6 conference play. It's going to be tough for us there. They're going to pull.
I feel it in my bones that's
they're
going
to be tough to beat on that day. And then
West
Virginia at home.
Yeah.
That's so I'm going to say loss, win.
I think I agree with you. Loss, win.
Well, I don't want to make it a clean sweep.
Well, you don't have to be different.
I'll go win, loss, win. There we go. That way we're a little different.
If you win this week and then you lose the following week, I'll be really disappointed.
Yeah, so will I.
I'll be really, really disappointed.
If you ask me today, will I take a split?
A split? What do you mean?
Win one, lose one.
Either way, flip, lose one, win one.
I sure want to win the last game of the season.
That's not one of the three. That's the one of the two. Yeah. We're talking about Colorado and Oklahoma State. Win one, lose one.
I don't think I would accept I don't think I would take the split. I would accept it. I would accept it.
Yeah, I can.
Like I have a choice. But I don't think I would say I would take it.
I don't know.
I think you're capable of going 2-0.
You could pull the Adam Savage's I reject reality and substitute my own. So you're allowed
what
to
do you
that.
think the line should be for this weekend? Jamie's third question of the day.
I'm terrible at this.
Well,
I think
who do you think should be favored?
Colorado by 3.
That's exactly what it is. What were you going to say, Jeff?
I was going to say Colorado 5.
Yeah, it's 3.
So basically what they're saying is, because generally you get 3 for being at home. Mm-hmm. So basically what they're saying is it's almost a touchdown favorite.
It's a 1-score game, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 1-score game.
Yeah. I'm really happy with the way that you played this week and all the above, but their strength is your weakness, and I just can you get enough pressure on Shedeur and control him with rush lane discipline to not let him get out of the pocket and make big plays? And I'm just nervous about this one.
I agree with you.
And I felt like I told you guys last week, I felt like this was going to be your shocker win, but I feel like we've already got the shocker win. So.
At Iowa State.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and the shocker loss with the loss to Baylor.
But I don't feel like this would be a shocker if you won it. I mean, I feel like you're capable. I just worry about their passing attack.
Mm-hmm. As I sit here this morning, and I realize this is the premise of the game, I just don't think you can outscore them. In terms of trying to match their ability to go up and down the field. So I said last week we were good for 1 upset. Hope I'm wrong, and it's 2. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Somebody says this: beating Iowa State and Colorado and then losing to a winless Oklahoma State out of a bye week would be the most tech thing ever. I mean, we were asked. I think Jeff asked us this morning, or on Friday morning, what we would say today. And we haven't said it yet because the thought was if we had beaten Iowa State, it would be, typical Tech, then most people would say that, but we haven't said that. Jamie wants to know if you would eat buffalo wings from the morning till 5 on Friday. No, Jamie, you're not going to eat. Are you a buffalo wing? You're a buffalo wing guy.
I love buffalo wings.
Yeah.
Would I eat them what?
From the morning till 5 on Friday.
Till 5 p.m.?
Yeah.
Like how many? Like just like one an hour?
1 or 2 an hour?
I could handle 2 an hour.
Okay.
So that's not too many. No, I mean, over the course of that's breakfast, lunch, and
it's not like
pregame show for dinner
it's not
there.
Like you're going to continuously eat them from morning till 5 p.m.
If you wanted me to eat 2 an hour from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m., I think I could handle that.
Yeah. Let's see here. 7:40 this morning on the morning drive. The boom, boom, boom is next. Somebody says this great game, Tech. You kept on fighting to the end. This time the team came back with a win. Bowl game is your reward. Time to get ready for Colorado, and I'll be tailgating, making buffalo wings. Okay, good. Tell me where you're going to be.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It's been nice to talk about a win. After the last couple of Mondays have been a little rough. Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Come to you this morning from the First United Bank studio. Look forward to hearing from you on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. And Visual Edge IT hotline is open as well at 806-771-0973. So your biggest takeaway from the game on Saturday, Jamie, was?
That we won.
Okay.
That we won.
I knew you were going to say that. So
okay.
Second one.
You put yourself back in the conversation of at least being able to dream a little bit about getting to the Big 12 championship game.
Making these November games meaningful, playing meaningful games.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You know, because Coach McGuire had said that back in the spring, back in the summer, when fall camp began, when it was 172 degrees outside, wanted to play meaningful games in November. And you're going to do that. You're going to play a very meaningful game on Saturday. It's 3 o'clock kick against Colorado. They're ranked 21st in the country in the Associated Press poll. And, I think, do you think they're a nationwide darling?
No. I think the same reasons that Dion rubs us the wrong way, he rubs other people the wrong way.
But he sure seems to get...
I think he's a nationwide darling for the media.
Yeah, okay.
Because he draws viewers and he draws clicks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think absolutely there.
And their style of play, and then maybe how they won against Baylor. And, they've got two of the most exciting, players in college football right now.
Absolutely they do. They're both really impressive in my opinion.
So I think, that's a big deal there. So we'll see. We'll see what transpires on Saturday. We'll have Optimum Game Day live coverage, obviously, at 7 a.m. Saturday morning. We'll take you all the way up to the kick and after the game, too. You know the drill. We'll talk about it all week long. I think the fact that to me, what really won this ball game was just how hard your defense played. And I thought the hits were really loud at times, especially by Jacob Rodriguez and Ben Roberts, too. That the way that your defense was physical.
Yeah,
and they came
and
to
I thought
play.
Your offense was too. You remember early on in that game? I mean, into the second half, Taj did not have a lot of rushing yards, but really in the second half, and that's we don't get into the negativity or whatever. But on your first drive, you used Taj a bunch. 4 carries, 32 yards, and you score a touchdown. And then it kind of goes away.
Yeah.
You're not handing the ball off to Taj anymore. I mean, we talk about getting dominated in the second quarter. Now, some of that was you got behind the chains a bunch. Okay?
Right.
And so it was harder to use him because of penalties, because of sack, whatever. It's harder. It's harder on 2nd and 13 to run the ball compared to if it's 2nd and 6.
Well, case in point, after you get a stop on them on 4th and 2, okay, this is the start of the second quarter. Tech's third drive, first down, Barron gets sacked. Second down, false start. Now it's 2nd and 21, and so you end up punting.
And that's where it's just hard to use your running back there, right?
Yeah, and then your fourth.
So you got to be better on
punt.
first down if you're going to continue to use your running back, but. But in the second half, you didn't run away from him, right? You didn't give in at all to that, and
I think you did a better job of protecting Barron.
Yeah, again, you weren't playing behind the chains.
Yeah,
and you were able to use Tosh a lot better because of that.
You get an interception by A.J. McCarty that's caused by huge pressure from Ben Roberts. This is your 5th drive. You started at the Iowa State 44. Morton sacked on 3rd and 10, and so then you have to punt, and that's the 3rd sack of the game. There in the first half. And then, you get a nice punt return and you get a holding call. And then Morton's intercepted on 2nd down. So it's just that second quarter was just it was an offensive disaster.
Especially on first down.
Yeah. It's just and so once you got into that situation, then you force a punt, and you start your seventh possession of the half with $1:27 to go. You get a big conversion on 3rd and 3, and then you're intercepted on 3rd and 10 at the 50-yard line, and then they end up going down and scoring to take the lead at the half. So, so coming out of the gate, you get coming out of the gate, Iowa State, their first drive, because the thing that Coach McGuire said, the other thing he said at the half is he said, we need to get a stop. We need to get a stop coming out of this first drive for Iowa State in the third quarter. And they did. They eventually got a stop. They created the first fumble of the year for Iowa State with a hit by Jacob Rodriguez.
Yep.
But then the problem was, then you go 3 and out. And then Iowa State comes back, and then Jacob Rodriguez, another great play. This is their 9th possession of the game. He gets a sack to force them to punt, and they get a beautiful punt. It's my notes, down to the 2-yard line. And then that's where you start that drive, where you go 12 plays, 98 yards, 3 minutes, 49 seconds. You get the 19-yard touchdown. That's the drive where there's the illegal hands to the face that causes Iowa State an interception. Other teams can make mistakes too, because we've seen that happen to us, where we've made those mistakes and allowed a team, like against TCU, you had a big penalty that allowed a drive to continue, that they end up scoring a touchdown. Mm-hmm. So, you take the lead and at 17-13, but you cough it right back up because you get a pass interference call that's called on Tech that gives them the ball at the 27-yard line, and then Abu Sama makes a 26-yard run to the 1-yard line. But here's the thing for them: then they make a big mistake. That's the play right there that should have been called a touchdown, because his foot hits the pylon.
Right.
And they didn't call it. They put the ball at the 1-yard line. Then they have a false start.
And they don't score a touchdown.
No, they get held to a field goal there, and so your defense stiffened.
Yep.
So
we caught a break, and you're allowed to get those every once in a while.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.